Hey, if you're wondering what's been happening in the last 14 days here in the Northern Virginia market, I'm about to go through what the pulse of the market is and go through a graph that'll show you exactly what has statistically happened. My name is Sean Price. I'm with the Price and Price Group here at eXp Realty. And first of all, I'd like to apologize for not getting a market report out last week. It was chaos last week, but we are back to normal. And so the general pulse of the market has been things we are starting to see it kind of soften a little bit. I've been saying this for several weeks now that there are pockets of high activity and then there are pockets where there are opportunities. And it's the same thing now. It's just the pocket of opportunities are a little bit more frequent than they were previously. We've had some buyers this week that have faced multiple offer situations, as high as 5 and 6 offers, and then we've had buyers who have faced no competition. So what I'm finding and what we're experiencing is that the common theme is if it's a nice property that is priced well and is in good condition, then it is getting multiple offers. If it's a property that's not in great condition or it's priced too high, then they're not getting multiple offers and they're actually sitting for a little while. So what that means for sellers is that you have to be a lot more realistic right now than you were in the previous market, 3, 4 weeks ago, up to 6 months ago. You could just slap a property on the market and people would flock to it. Now it is the condition of the property matters, the location of the property matters, and the price matters. And from a selling perspective, you can only control two of those, the condition and the price. So you have to pay attention to the feedback that you're getting and determine, okay, is the feedback something that has to do with condition that I can change? And then you make the change, or you might adjust the price accordingly. If the feedback has something to do with location or something you can't change, then you have to adjust your price accordingly. Properties are selling, but they are selling, if they're not in great condition and priced right, it's taken them 2 weeks to sell, and they're going for under ask in most cases, or right at ask. So that's the general pulse. The properties that are going above ask, we're not seeing them go as high above ask. It's not always the situation. We did have one that just went $100,000 over asking price, and it was a $500,000 property. So that is still happening, but that's very rare. Usually it's more around the 5% to 10% over asking range. So the market is definitely moving into a more normal aspect. It's not normal, it's not near normal, but it's becoming more normal. Buyers, this might be a good opportunity to get in there because there's less competition. So buyers, what we're finding is that there are some opportunities out there to get into a property with less competition. And as long as you're strategic with your offers, then that's a good opportunity. And sellers, it's still a great market for you on the sell side, but you have to be very strategic and very realistic with your list price and with the condition. Excuse me. Excuse me, condition of your property. Okay, so that's the pulse of the market. So now let's get over to the stats. Okay, so statistically, it's been pretty interesting. As you know, I missed the market report for last week. So the stats we're going to be looking at are over a 2 week period for this week. So in the last 2 weeks, buyer activity has been down 36%. It was down actually 22% the previous 7 days, and then 12% this last 7 days. Inventory is down 20%. It was down 24% the previous 7 days, and then the 14 days ago, if this makes sense. And then it went up by 4% last week. So the net for the 2 weeks is 20%. So as always, buyer activity has follows inventory because there's nothing to buy, then the buyer activity is going to drop. So the trend here has been over history has been certainly an increased activity in the market. Okay, so that's been the trend. But if you look from this point on, the last 2 weeks has been a significant downward trend. So the question is this going to continue? Are we going to continue this downward trend in activity? Or is the downward trend of activity due to the fact that inventory dropped? Because you can see right here, we had significant upticks in inventory. This was 3 weeks ago. And you can see that buyer activity followed it. And then as inventory started coming down, buyer activity is coming down. So the question is right now, okay, so if these last 2 weeks are telling us what is happening in the market. And that's a big if. If inventory starts going back up, we may likely go in the other direction. But if the buyer activity is truly decreasing, then we'll see this continue in a downward trend over the next couple of weeks. But it has to be independent of what inventory does. What'll be interesting, and what a lot of um, non-professionals in the real estate industry are kind of promoting, is the fact that inventory, they're expecting to continue to increase and buyer activity to go down. But we can still see there's a gap. There's still more buyer activity than there is inventory activity. So nobody really knows the future. The mechanics are not there for a market crash. So it's really not something that is expected or should be expected. But the mechanics are certainly there for us to calm down that appreciation that was happening, calm down all those multiple offer situations, and move into a more normal market. And that is the trend. So if you go over here, and seller's market is above the orange line, buyer's market is below the orange line, a neutral market is right here on the orange line. And you can see that we certainly, over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, have been moving more towards a normal market. So it is still a seller's market, but there is some opportunity out there for buyers. And if you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will see you on next week's market report.